Yes, y'all. Welcome to Office Hours. Happy Friday, September 2nd. Welcome to Office Hours. We will get this show on the road here in just one moment. If you can let me know that you can see me and hear me okay, and we will get going. You can put any questions you have into the comments. If you already know some questions, go ahead and put them in there. Hello, Robert Brennan. Good to see you, sir. And I will take them generally in order. What's up, Tamar? And then I will also post a link in here for anybody who's got a question that isn't easy to just type in the comments. They want to talk about it, come on camera, all that good stuff. I'm going to post that link in here as well so that we can do that. Awesome. Thank you, Tamar. Appreciate it. Good. All right, let me go ahead. I'm going to put that link in here. And anybody that wants to join on camera, you are welcome to. Otherwise, like I said, you can go ahead and type your questions inside of the comments and I'll respond to them in order there. So for anybody new, this is Office Hours. Office Hours are my just open Q&A calls. Anything that I can help you with or anything that you think I might be able to help you with, I will give it my best shot. And that can be any questions related to getting the business going, operating, sales, marketing, service design, information products, whatever it is, I will give it a shot. As you know, my experience has been in a number of different industries and different situations and scales and all that good stuff. So happy to help in any way that I can. Tamar, I see you there. Are you ready to come on screen with a question? Awesome. Very good. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good. How are you? Am I on mute?
I'm great. Thank you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. So, good to connect with you. Good to connect.
You too.
Usually have my questions prepared, but I'll just wing it and go from there. So
sounds good.
Yeah, my initial foot in the door offer was to do reputation management. Mm-hmm. And that's moving along. I literally just got off a call with my chiropractor to pitch him reputation, but then I also added R4. So I mixed things up a bit to, make it make sense, based on what I think. So literally just pitched them on reputation and I believe reach.
Okay.
It's stuff that you typically have for resale, but I mixed it up based on what I think made sense at the time. It may make no sense, but anyway, just pitched them. And what you said helped, like just asking the person what their budget is. Like I think I told them, like, hey, starts from 100 up to 1K. And my goal initially was to do like $250 a month for the reputation management based on a platform that I was using. I think it's Review Pro Lead. But what I'm doing, I'm combining Review Pro Lead and GHL with the stuff that you provided to do like a super duper, reputation or whatever. Because as you know, with GHL, there's no extra cost. So I'm able to make it irresistible offer, no extra
advantage of it.
Exactly. So with that being said, just pitched him, asked him his budget. My goal is to do $250 a month, but he said his budget was $350. I'm like, even better. So I just added more stuff to make it worth more than $350 a month. Yep. And I see him tomorrow. I know he's going to pay because he's already sold. So should definitely collect payment by Monday. So thank you for that. Just wanted to share, very
awesome.
potential win. So I know he's going to close.
That's awesome. I love it.
And I guess other than that, so I know, the goal is to like niche down and stuff. And I know when I first got into the agency thing, everyone was like, stay away from restaurants. You can't charge a lot, blah, 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 whatever. But yeah, with a high ticket monthly retainer model, that makes sense. But then, as you mentioned, doing SaaS, things of that nature. So I actually had another call with a prospect that is a marketing manager for a restaurant management group. I think they own like 15 restaurants and she's responsible for 2 of them. So just sent her a proposal today. I met with her and did the R4 presentation earlier in the week. So Tuesday we have a follow-up call and hopefully I'm able to close at least one of them. So anyway, so say all that to say that things are moving along very early and I just appreciate being able to, ask you questions, things of that nature. So
good for you, man. I love it.
Yeah. So with that being said, let me get to the questions, right? Number one, like I said, I was going to do reputation as my foot in the door, but then you introduced to me the whole website as a service. I'm obsessed with that. If you can't tell, because I keep asking you questions. And also trying to debate on picking a niche. So I like restaurants, like, everyone's like chiropractor, dentist, whatever. But I actually, like restaurants, I feel like that would be more fun. You have experience with that. So I guess number one, If I decide to switch to doing website as a service, do you think restaurants would be a good fit for that? Like, what's your take? Because I know, you have there San Diego, and you're very,
Yeah.
well versed with restaurants. So, what's your take on that?
Yeah. So first of all, so congrats on your success. That's awesome. I love it. You're getting some good momentum. That's fantastic. Yeah. So what first thing I want to address, the advice that you're getting, oh, stay away from restaurants because you can't charge enough. Look, there are some really, really amazing marketing services companies out there that are focused 100% on restaurants that are growing like wildfire. So anybody who's giving you that advice, be careful about the advice that you're getting, because they are probably coming at it from a very specific lens, and they are not looking at the big picture of, hey, somebody is out there having success servicing restaurants, so it looks like there is a way to do it. And the thing to me, that's always critical is that you understand, and this goes for any niche, any industry, that your price points, your service delivery, and your sales process all need to be in alignment. And if you can achieve that, you can sell to, it just about any niche becomes viable, because any industry where there is actually, the restaurant industry is huge, and there's, who knows how many, hundreds of thousands of restaurants, or whatever the numbers are. There's a National Restaurant Association that's massive. There's some really good sized, very profitable software companies that just sell point of sale systems to the restaurants, right? So for us to say that the restaurants just can't spend any money, it's really saying that whoever is selling to them doesn't have a value proposition at the price point that they're selling that makes sense to the buyers and is compelling enough to those buyers, right? But there are other service providers that are doing that just fine. So we've got to go and look at what they're doing and learn from them. And again, that goes for every single industry. If you're charging $1,500 a month or $2,500 a month to a dentist, okay, I know a lot of people out there that have gone out there, charged those kinds of rates, and their business is dead within a year. Why? Because the dentist can pay that much money, but the service still wasn't compelling enough to get them to want to keep paying that money. So, everything's got to be in alignment. And if you're selling at lower price points because that's what that particular niche needs, then you need to make sure that your service delivery is much more automated and that your sales process is much more streamlined, right? And then it's possible to make it work. You also need to make sure that you have long-term recurring revenue. So if you're going to sell for lower price points, you got to keep those customers around. Like, they've got to pay you month after month for a good long time so that the model works. But there are other people doing it. So don't ever let somebody else's opinion of a market dissuade you. Use your own head, go in and do your homework, find out who's working in that space, why it's working for them, how it's working for them, and then make a decision if that's something that you want to do. And if it's not, then look at a different niche, right? So in San Diego, there are, I don't know how many PR firms here in San Diego that are almost 100% supported by the restaurant industry. So those, and I would say on average, those PR firms start at like $1,500 a month. So there's restaurants out there paying them $1,500 a month for PR, up to who knows what, right? For PR. So there's restaurants that can spend money. And then there's some restaurants here in San Diego that are, crazy lucrative restaurants. They're empires. So, again, you use your own head, make your own judgment. And that goes for everybody and anybody listening to this call. You need to make sure and do a thoughtful analysis rather than just letting somebody with very limited experience tell you, hey, don't do that niche, don't do this niche because somebody told me XYZ, whatever. And particularly, this is really important, guys, too. Like when it comes to taking advice like that, if we're all just going to follow a herd versus like using our thinking, right? Oh, there's all those guys that I see going after dentists because dentists have a lot of money. Well, great. So you just put yourself in line as number what? The number 150 agency that those dentists are getting a call from this week because we got all these people that lined up because they saw somebody else doing something in the dental. Like at some point or another, we've got to be comfortable with, we're going to have to innovate. We're going to have to take some chances in order to stand out in the marketplace. Otherwise, you really have no shot at building anything of substance if you're just going to follow everybody else, right? It's not the way the market works. So then going back, now I just rambled so much tomorrow. I can't remember exactly what the question was. Remind me.
No worries. It's like a two-part question. And to touch on what you said is true. I mean, I was doing the whole Facebook ad agency model, and I know everyone has like the top 10, 20 niches. So they're like restaurants wouldn't be good for Facebook ads, but then again, like you said, what you said makes sense. Having a lower price point, having something that actually is of value that they'll keep paying for. So like I said, now, as a result of working with you, is like, I want to work with restaurants, is trying to find the best way. So I guess number one, I wanted to do websites as a service, and I was wondering if restaurants would be a good niche for that. And then I guess number two follow-up question is, even if websites as a service is not good, obviously, because I think one of your examples of R4, you did it for restaurants. So just wanted to touch on websites as a service and then working with restaurants, and that's pretty much it.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. So one, restaurants as a service, websites as a service for restaurants is a great opportunity. The reason why I say that is because every single day, I go out to restaurants all day, every day. And every single day I pull up their websites and they're terrible. Even some of the best restaurants, most established restaurants out there, I pull up their website and it's like, okay, how do I find the information I'm looking for? How do I contact them? It's ranking terribly. It's not mobile optimized. There's all kinds of very obvious, from a marketer's lens, very obvious problems with those websites. And most restaurants are presented with the option of hiring some web design agency to try and get a better website. That's very expensive, or it's really not an easy process. Like if you sit down and you go, okay, you know what? I'm gonna design the perfect restaurant website. It would have these things. It would be optimized in this way. Like that would not be hard to do. There's only so many things that it needs, right? So if you build that all into a turnkey thing so that you can just say, hey, look, Mr. and Mrs. Restaurant owner, you need a new website. You need a website that does these things. Here's why. Here's some data and some statistics to demonstrate to you why these things are so critical. We specialize in this. We've designed the optimal restaurant website, and we have it very well structured. We do this all day, every day, so that we can get you a new website up and running like that. And because we want, your business as a new customer, we can actually waive all the setup fees and stuff. If you just agree to hosting and using these, our marketing system, with your website, that's a very compelling pitch. It's a very compelling offer for that restaurant. So yes, it's a great space. If you look at Restaurant Engine, right? Restaurant Engine is one that I've shown as the example in the past. And I can pull them up here real quick. Have you seen them before?
Yeah, I think you shared it. And I found another one. I think they're called Web Diner. I think they do something similar.
Yeah, there's got to be a bunch of them out there. Restaurant Engines is the one I'm familiar with. And then, so let's go back to some of the other very obvious, in my mind, opportunities for restaurants. So like somebody just said, oh, Facebook ads wouldn't be good for restaurants. That's not true. There's very obvious, very good Facebook ad opportunities for restaurants. But again, how do you structure and sell and deliver the service? So if you sit down with each restaurant and go, hey, we should fire up, a Facebook ad campaign for you, and how much budget do you have? And if you had, X dollars a month in budget, we could do some really cool stuff. And, that's what most ad agencies do, right? Versus if you sat down with, we'll take one type of restaurant, because there's all kinds of different, segments of restaurants within the restaurant space. But let's just take your kind of neighborhood restaurant here in San Diego that they like, they're not so brand conscious that they won't put out some deals and some coupons and stuff. Like some restaurants in San Diego aren't ever going to use a deal or a coupon or anything to get somebody in, because it's against their brand, right? Their brand is high end. So this is like a normal, maybe like a sports bar here in San Diego or something like that. If you had to, again, design what is the perfect ad campaigns for that restaurant, it would not be real hard to come up with a set of campaigns that are just like totally cookie cutter. So as an example, just off the top of my mind, on Facebook, you can run ads against somebody's birthday. So if you have ads running, hey, tomorrow it's your birthday, come on in with your friends. We're going to, host you guys to a special blah, 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 whatever, for your birthday, claim your birthday offer here, right? Those just run on autopilot.
Nice.
Like, it's just super easy, right? You just set that thing to run against somebody's birthday. You just give it a budget and it just runs. And now everybody in that area that's having their birthday, according to the targeting that you set up, is going to see these ads from this restaurant saying, hey, come in, it's your birthday, right? Super obvious, automated, can just run forever. It would be very, very easy. Again, I'm thinking about this sports bar, in San Diego. Very easy for me to sit down and come up with a theme every single month for an offer and an ad that would be fun, that would, get people in, like remind them, hey, we're here. It's January, it's football season, it's that type of thing. It's whatever. Like we can come up with a campaign that just runs every single month. And again, it's evergreen. So this one runs in January. This one runs in February. Next year, January, it runs again. It's been a whole year since those people have seen that offer. It's going to work just fine again the second time around, right? So it's just like, you could set all that up and just have it running on autopilot. So again, when you sit down with a customer, you're not sitting down and doing some creative process and trying to figure out budgets and all that type of stuff. You're saying, we've designed the perfect ad campaign for restaurants. Here's what it is. Here's the kind of results it gets. It's already designed. We can fire this thing up for you. It's, $997 a month. It's $697 a month. It's $497 a month, whatever it is, depending again on the specific restaurant. It's probably size and type that you're selling to. And then you just run the damn thing. There's no management, there's no agency services where you guys are sitting down every quarter and doing creative concepts together and reviewing, it's like none of the normal agency stuff. It is a productized service that you just set up and run. And there are going to be certain customers that you talk to, certain prospects that you talk to, that's not a fit for. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with, there's some restaurants that are just gonna be like, no, that doesn't work for me. Okay. And you move on to the next restaurant, and sell them. But again, just about anything can be structured to be a good service. So for me, as an example, I've got my media site. Because I control the site and I control the media and I control my ad account, very easy for me to set up like a nice favorable article about a restaurant and then promote that article to everybody under the sun. That's a great marketing product for restaurants because it's a third party that's written a review of the restaurant or whatever it is. And it's that third party that's out there promoting the restaurant versus the restaurant promoting themselves. So it adds that third party credibility that makes media so powerful. And it's a ridiculously efficient service to set up and run. It's like all margin for me because I'm producing that content on my site anyway. I'm running Facebook ads anyway. So all I got to do is say, hey, it's $500 and we'll show it to 15,000 people. Great. Give me the $500. We'll make sure it gets shown to 15,000 people. That takes us $200. We make $300, right? Like no management to it. I mean, I turn the dang thing on and turn it off. Like that's it. So super, super simple. And so we got to get creative. We got to think outside the box a little bit. What I can tell you is that in most niches, in most industries, that this community talks about like providing agency services to, the big flaw is the word agency. It's that people are sitting around thinking about, we're going to do custom this and custom that, and I'm going to design some cool thing for this customer, and then the next customer, I'm going to design some cool thing for them. That's the flaw. That's the big flaw, is that we're thinking with this agency model that's just a broken model. We need to be thinking about productized services. We need to think about assets. We need to be thinking about automation, right? So that's the issue.
Gotcha. No, I appreciate it. I just had like 2 follow-up questions based on what you said.
Yep.
I remember one of the 2, forgot the other, so I'll ask for the one. As far as client acquisition, like how would you recommend, or how easy or difficult is it to get a hold of the, the owners of the restaurants, the decision makers? Like I think you have some Facebook ad campaigns, but either way, what do you recommend level of difficulty? Just thinking out loud.
I think it can be a total pain in the neck. I think it can be a total pain in the neck to get a hold. I mean, tell me an industry where it's not a total pain in the neck to get a hold of a business owner.
Gotcha.
I mean
like lawyers, doctors, and dentists is like, at least, I think they're easier because who, by name. And then, if you go on LinkedIn or whatever, you could, directly connect. But I'm just thinking like, I don't know, whether it's cold email, whether I do Facebook ads, I just wanted to do some sort of approach to client acquisition in the droves, as opposed to like, door knocking, calling, any way to like just throw out a casting net. I mean, I guess one advantage with Facebook ads is that you can go broad and wide, and then, if you hit one, you hit one. If you don't, you don't. So
yeah. So I would say though, yes, I would say with restaurants, but with almost every industry out there, the way that we should be thinking is that we are going to do everything that we can to be an overwhelming presence in their space, and that we are going to show up in creative ways that demonstrate proof. Okay. So I've said over and over in the restaurant space, why as their San Diego, can I have conversations going all day long with restaurant owners? And the reason why is because, we're on Instagram every day, posting content, getting attention, tagging those businesses. And so they are constantly responding to us. So we are demonstrating proof all day, every day, right? We're out there in the market. Like they can't ignore us. I mean, they could, but it would be stupid. I mean, why would they, right? I mean, we're out there saying nice things about them and putting content up about them and all that good stuff. Like we're in their face, and we're in their face in a way that we know that they're paying attention to. We know they're paying attention to social media, Instagram, and probably now TikTok in particular, right? If you're selling just in your local market, absolutely, it makes sense to be walking in the door at those restaurants and trying to shake hands and meet people. It's not scalable, but it works, and so for a while you're getting your feet underneath you and you're trying to figure out like, what are the messages that are going to work and what are people responding to or not responding to, doing that with some FaceTime is incredibly valuable. And then in the restaurant space in particular, man, I would be doing everything. I'd be all over social media. I would absolutely be walking indoors locally and stuff to the restaurants. I'd target them and try and be smart about it. I'd be doing direct mail for sure as a way of getting in there for as much as you can afford, and getting creative with it, not just typical, sending just like a little plain envelope type of thing. Like I'd be getting creative with some good lumpy mail. Yeah. But yeah, there's almost never just the one way that is going to make everything easier. It's just, you gotta be in it to win it. And I think that's the thing that I see way too many people do, is they want to find the perfect answer, and then they dip their toe in Like I'm trying that perfect answer. And then when the perfect answer isn't the perfect answer, because there are no perfect answers, when it's not the perfect answer, then they pull back and start looking for another niche rather than going all in and saying, that's my niche and I'm going to dominate and go for it and win, right? There's a level of commitment that the people who are winning have that commitment and they just go.
Gosh.
And I think that's what it takes.
Okay, no, absolutely, I totally agree. And I think you said there's also restaurant association, so that might be a potential source
Channels,
to
yeah.
find them. Okay,
absolutely.
All right. I remember the last question. I promise I'm done.
That's all good.
There's two, like I live in South Florida, so there's two IG accounts that are kind of similar to their San Diego.
Yep.
One is Brickell Living for Brickell, Miami. The other is the Lauderdale local in Fort Lauderdale. I was thinking of doing some sort of like a joint venture with them because I think one of them one of them does have advertising. So I was, pinging them or messaging them, just posing as someone who's interested in advertising. But like even right now, as I'm looking, I guess I have some sort of what is it called? What's the marketing term when you have like the sheet that has like the demographics and whatever
like media kit?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what I'm looking at. So yeah, showing analytics of all these things and then a rate sheet. I guess they'll do a single post, 2 posts, 3 posts, and 4 posts starting at 300 to 900. And then they do stories and it looks like that's it. So they don't do like anything beyond that. And then with the other company, I don't think they do anything at all. They, I guess they're more content, like articles, but I don't see anywhere where you can like sign up and like pay them for services. So I'm thinking since they're already doing that, that local approach, do you think it would be a good idea? And if so, how would you approach them as a potential, partner to say, hey, you guys obviously already have relationships with these restaurants, you created content, this and that. Would it be worth just trying to partner with them and come up with a split as far as offering R4 services?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, I hate to sound like a negative ninny about it, but I mean, in 20 years of, doing those types of things, I have seen those work like never.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And the reason why I say that, so like, let me give you an example. If you want to give it an attempt at making it work, here's what you got to do. This is what I did that I had some success. Okay. And that was, I put skin in the game to show these guys that they would start making money from me no matter what. So in other words, I had some in the IT industry. Okay. One of the ways that was easiest for me to get some big opportunities with a new business was when they were doing an office move. Okay. If you're a law firm and you're about to move offices across city, one of the most important things that you have to figure out is all of our IT infrastructure set up properly? When we move, we got to make sure people move, plug in their laptops, they're back up and running so their lawyers don't have a bunch of downtime. Like it has to be planned and it's got to be thoughtful, right? And so when somebody's moving, it's a ripe opportunity for them to pick a new vendor. And so what I did was I got in touch with moving companies and real estate brokers that would know well in advance, hey, this law firm is about to move, right? And what I did, because at first I did the whole just like referral thing and, hey, if I sign those guys, I'm going to give you a nice chunk of change or recurring revenue or whatever, right? And it doesn't mean anything to anybody because it's so off in the distance, they just don't even understand it, right? Like, oh yeah, if you sign them, I'm going to make some money, yeah, whatever, right? And then it's like 6 months later before you ever even have an opportunity to sign the deal because, it can take so long. They just lose interest. It's not their business to be focused on your business, right? So what I had to change it to, I put together a formal program with a rate sheet and everything where I said, hey, look, if you make a warm introduction to anybody that qualifies in these scenarios, I'm going to give you $250. That's all it is. Like you just know this guy's moving and you just shoot an email introducing us, $250. If I end up getting to the stage of doing a proposal with them, I'll give you another $250. Now you're $500 into it, man. And all you did was fire off a warm email. saying, hey, Mr. Law firm owner, you guys will be moving soon. I know you're going to need some help with IT to make sure it goes smoothly. I want to make sure that, you know, you're set up for success. I happen to know Mike, who's the CEO of such and such company. They do a great job. Thought it might be a good introduction for you. That's it. $250 in your pocket. I even just scripted it out, gave it to them, said, all you got to do is send this, $250. If I get a proposal to them, another $250. If I sign them, $2,500, right? So I like just made it real. I made it real numbers and I took all the risk. It was like, I knew my economics and I knew that in order for me to just get a lead doing good old normal marketing, I knew how much it cost me. And so I knew even though I was going to go $500 out of pocket with these guys before I ever even had a chance of signing a customer, I knew because of all of my other costs of marketing that was still a decent deal for me. Like if I did any other kind of marketing, I was going to make that same investment or greater, and it wouldn't be a warm introduction like that. It would be somebody that I get in cold from marketing, right? So I got limited success with that still. Again, just because most people do not care about you and your business at all. They care about their business and they get compensated in a certain way. They've got to hit their numbers. It's like they're obsessively focused with, geez, how do I make sure I hit my quota so I make my commission so I don't get screwed, you know? Like they're not thinking about you. So the only way that this really works is like in the true like affiliate marketing industry. Like when you see, you know, the online guys, like we all do these affiliate deals and stuff like that. That works because that's like literally the business model we're in. I mean, and it's almost effortless. If I'm going to be sending an email anyway, and I can send an email with somebody else's offer in it, and that offer is converting well and yada, yada. Okay, just put a link in there and send the email. Like it's no skin off my nose, right? It's easy. So that's the reason why the affiliate marketing business works so well with, you know, I'm going to refer your products and make money. Any other scenario, I've just seen limited success. And I think one of the biggest risks of doing that, especially at your stage, and this goes for anybody listening to this, one of the biggest risks of that approach, if you're early stage in your business, it's passive. You're now taking this passive mindset of, oh, I'm going to try and get somebody else to give me my business instead of me going out and hustling and figuring out how to get my business, you know, like you want to make sure that you have as direct and controllable system for getting customers as you possibly can, so that there's nobody in between you. There's nobody that can hold you up. There's nobody that can stop referring you. And now all of a sudden you're like, uh-oh, you know? So those relationships can be kind of a nice cherry on top type of thing if you get the right ones. But for the most part, you got to go and you got to figure out your own approach.
Gotcha. No, I appreciate it. I mean, one thing that came to mind as you said that is when I looked at the media kit, at least now I know whatever business is featured in a story or a post paid for it. So I can, you know, go directly after the business, just knowing like, hey, they spent some money, and go from there, figure it out. So, all right, perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Mike.
Awesome, man. Thank you. I love the hustle. I love you're out there getting after it. Keep us posted.
Will do. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, let's see here. Kyle, you up? You ready? Can you hear me, Kyle?
Yes. Hello.
You see, there he is. What's up, my man? Hey, real quick before we jump into it, welcome, Rajesh. Glenn, thank you very much, my man. Howard, good to see you. Patrick, good to see you. Charles and Linda, good to see you. Welcome. Six-figure tutor, my man, Richard, welcome. Good to see you, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Fly Fishing Journeys, Rob, welcome. Awesome. I see Jeanette, Scott, Glenn, Rob, all in the background. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Kyle, how can I help you, my man? Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, man. Let's see here. So, my question is, with the Bastion and with Guest Getter, I'm noticing this problem I've had again and again and again, where it's the vicious cycle of going hard on sales, and then you start to get clients, and then you focus on fulfillment, and then the sales stuff falls off. And I have been in that cycle since I started being an entrepreneur.
Cycle of doom.
Yeah. And so now we're kind of thinking why don't we just take some of the money that we're getting from these people and just right away, invest in people to fulfill, because I figure growing the pipeline is what grows the business, not servicing the client, if that makes sense. So what do you think?
Yep. I 100% agree. I mean, I think you have to do one of two things. Either your service delivery has to be so efficient that there is essentially no service delivery. So like with Air San Diego, somebody pays me for a sponsored piece of content. I mean, we can launch that thing at 10 o'clock tonight. Like, so there's, you know, it doesn't matter when I do it. And then I launch it and my work is done effectively. Mm-hmm. Right. So it's got to be that efficient. Or yeah, you got to get somebody in place right away. I mean, like Everon was the best example of this for me because I had no money whatsoever. I was deeply in debt, just graduating from business school. Like I had nothing. And literally the first thing I did was hire somebody to manage the service delivery. And part of that, and it was a blessing. And I like to tell this story and remind people of it all the time because I could not fix a computer if my life depended on it. Okay. So I started an IT management company. I didn't know the first thing about how to fix a computer, you know, troubleshoot or whatever, set up a network. I mean, I didn't know any of the actual service delivery. Okay. And that was actually a big advantage for me over my competition. And this is an important reminder for everybody because sometimes we get too focused on me. What can I do? Right. And look, the best businesses out there aren't, you know, a person doing their thing. It's products and services that are delivered, you know, by technology, by assets, by people that you hire and put in place, right? So sometimes you get so focused on what can I do, and that's a big mistake. I couldn't fix computers, and that was my biggest advantage in the industry because all I did was sell all day long, every day, because I couldn't do anything else. So I hired Josh, who ended up, you know, becoming my business partner for years. I hired him, and I said, literally, the conversation was, hey, man, at some point or another here in the next month, I'm going to make that phone ring. And if you can't fix their computer, we're out of business. So please fix their computer. and that was it. And he literally was like, really? Like, this is what we're doing? I was like, yep, this is what we're doing. So if you could be here from 8 to 5 waiting for the phone ring, right? Like, it was like literally like that situation. All I knew how to do was sell. So I just went out and sold. And that's the position that you all need to put yourself into as fast as possible. And sometimes, like in my case, I could not afford Josh. I literally was throwing money on credit cards. I couldn't pay my rent. I had a kid on the way. Like I was a train wreck, but I was just like, I'm all in. So, like I'm not giving the advice for anybody else to run their finances that way. That was pretty stressful. Probably not very smart. But in terms of the mindset, yeah, hire somebody as quickly as you can and probably more quickly than it feels comfortable.
Okay. We'll do that. Okay. That's it for me. I really appreciate it, Mike.
Awesome. Good to see you, man.
You too.
Peace. All right. Rob, you want to come on? Here we go. How you doing, sir?
Hey, good. How you doing, Mike?
I'm great. Thank you. How can I help you?
Yeah, thanks for fixing that MSP Academy situation for me. I'm excited. I started that last night.
No sweat. Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries, man. I'm fired up. It's great material.
Good.
And first, thanks for mentioning that you can still walk in and, it's very effective. I've listened to your material and I couldn't agree more. Not scalable at all.
Yeah.
But to get your feet going and to get a base going, it's still a great way to start your business.
Yeah, one of the things that they really preach in kind of the Silicon Valley circles now is that the best way to scale is to do the unscalable, right? In the beginning, it's to do all of those things that don't make any sense for scale, but are the best ways to learn. Mm-hmm. Right? And I totally agree with that. Like, I think particularly in this world of everything online, I think there's a lot of us that are getting started with new businesses that we're looking for, the perfect 7-step funnel so that I can, it's just 24/7 making me money and I can just lay on the beach, right? Like that kind of mindset of, oh, it's just got to be easy. And if it's not easy, then I need to move on to the next thing. It so rarely works that's the case. It's almost always the case that it's like, we just got to get in there and get our hands dirty and do whatever we can to fill in the gaps of, information and to refine our offer, refine our messaging, all that type of stuff. And it takes unscalable stuff almost all the time.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm just jumping into HighLevel and really looking forward to using like those automations to HighLevel to scale at a bigger, in a bigger way. So I just put my first client as a sub account into HighLevel, and we're running Facebook ads through, we're actually using a HighLevel funnel.
Cool.
And that's starting to click in. It's only been running for a few days. But my question to you is, I'm really good with the sales portion and the big picture marketing.
Good.
But where I kind of need help is in that granular, like coming up with the content for the ads, working on like a nurturing campaign. I mean, I can do the tech part of the nurture campaign, no problem. But kind of setting up, when content, to do what, the creative and like the weight, when to do what, and moving them from one workflow to the other, that type of stuff.
Cool. What kind of customers are these?
This is a 2-location small group fitness, boutique women fitness gym.
Okay, cool. So I would say, in my opinion, and particularly because it's a small business. So when it comes to advertising, let's say for bigger businesses, or for like very fast growth, scalable businesses, like e-commerce businesses, like my friend Nehal, runs an agency where he's focused on really fast growth e-commerce businesses. The game there is almost 100% now about creative testing. So it's literally like they'll launch like 25 new ad creatives every single day. Like, I mean, it's like just tons of creative testing. That only works for them because their business has such scalability potential to justify it, right? So yeah, absolutely. Joe, jump in. Welcome. So when you're dealing with small businesses, they're not going to have the budget. They're not going to have the scalability and all that stuff to afford and justify all of that testing. So really what you want to do is kind of like what I was talking about with Tamara earlier, is you want to just design like, hey, here for a fitness business, here's like the system. You need an ad to do this, an ad to do this, an ad to do this, that's the system. And then you just put it in place and let it run. So the nice thing about that is you don't have to get creative very often. Like you should be designing this like once, and then probably every quarter sitting down, taking a good look at the data across all of your customers and going, is this system underperforming anywhere? Do we need to modify it anywhere? Do we need to, whatever. But that should be it's like a quarterly thing. It's not like you have to sit down and get creative every single time that you're setting up something new. The actual creativity of it should be really minimal. So then the question is, okay, well, how do I design that system? And so what I think that you want to do is you really want to like develop a good swipe file, like go out there and look at all the best fitness gym, marketing out there in the world. Use research tools to find the businesses that are the best and go visit their sites, opt into their stuff, get pixeled, all that stuff, so that you're seeing their ads and you're seeing their retargeting and all that type of stuff, and build out a real good swipe file and look at, okay, what are the best things doing? What do they have in common? And then you want to design your system around that. And then the creative element really is like, there's almost no creativity. Like it's super, super, super standardized at that point. And so at that point, you should be able to like hire like a very junior person and just say, hey, it's time to launch the new set of campaigns for this new customer. Like it's a women's gym specializing in hiring clientele that's more yoga focused. So the campaigns are going to be almost the exact same, except for now they're going to go find some more yoga images and things like that and put it in there versus, hey, this one is a boxing gym and it's got a little bit of a tough guy image. So we want to find some, but the structure, right? We got to have the cold offer. That's the free trial. We've got to have the retargeting for the people who came in and took the free trial but didn't sign. We've got to have the birthday offer. We've got to have the, whatever, bring a friend offer. Like it's just like the creative side of it should be super, super standardized. So then whether or not you can come up with that or you hire somebody to do that, I think when it comes to business design, I would love to see everybody in here who's the entrepreneur, who's the owner. I would love to see all of you get your hands as dirty as you can at that point, because the strategic design of your offer is one of the most important parts of your business. Like it's really hard to outsource that. But once you've got your hands around that, hey, here's generally like what it should look like and what I need. There's probably an endless number of people that you can hire to then, I mean, honestly, like you can probably get on just some of the like outsourcing sites, like not Fiverr, but a little bit higher end versions of those, where you can hire like an experienced Facebook marketer for very little money and say, hey, I want a set of campaign creatives. It's going to be 7 different, ads. Here's the purpose of ad number 1, purpose of ad number 2, purpose of ad number 3. Give me 3 versions of each and just let them go. And they'll create 21 ad creatives for you. That's probably going to be pretty dang solid.
Yep.
And then you're off to the races.
Perfect.
That's the way I would approach it. And just, this is why it's important, if you're doing this, you want to like stick to a niche in almost all cases, right? Because you design that system for that niche. Now the creative work is pretty much done. Now it's just sell. Just get as many people on there using it as you possibly can.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm trying to build out this one location and then using it as a snapshot.
Yep. That's great.
So I got one more question. I don't know if you want me to kind of get back in line or fire it off. Okay. So I was watching some high-level stuff recently, and it was about another program. And as we were watching it, the whole concept of the growth was based around a one-time short money tripwire offer that was a super scaled down version of HighLevel. So the feedback was, how can this one company offer this substantially discounted tripwire offer when there's some baseline pricing to offer HighLevel? Now, I don't understand HighLevel to that point yet. I don't know if when you get to SaaS, I'm pro now, going to be moving to SaaS shortly. I don't know if when you get to SaaS, there are minimum pricings that would then be in play, because my understanding of Agency Pro is I can just develop as many sub accounts as I want and put any price I want, whether it's $1 a month, $1 period, or $1,000.
Yep. Yeah. So Dorn says, I was on that. I just like the entire webinar.
Hey, I'm with you, Doran. No good.
Yeah. So the answer is, if you're using SaaS mode, then they've got it built in so that you're kind of stuck on that lower package, right? You can't just go down to whatever one-time, dirt cheap price. So theoretically, unless that company has some special deal with HighLevel because they were one of the early partners and HighLevel hadn't rolled out that, that term yet or whatever, that it's possible that they are still able to do that through SaaS mode. But anybody else at this point to do that, you just wouldn't be in SaaS mode. So when they buy, you can still create the account, load up the snapshot however you want, and install it in their account. It just won't be using that full SaaS mode capability to sell the package and install the package.
Okay.
So it's just going to be a little bit more manual effort that one time to get it set up.
Okay.
But it's super easy. I mean,
so you can still offer it for a one-time or a discounted or a monthly?
Let me say, that's how you would do it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what HighLevel would have to say about you doing that right now.
The terms and services.
Yeah. The terms of service of the agreement with HighLevel. I'm honestly not sure. I personally don't like that model. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Sure.
So, but I think if you wanted to do that, I think you need to look at the HighLevel terms and just make sure what their agreement says. Because I don't,
which is why I'm on your team.
Yeah. Cool. Good. Perfect. I'm all for it. And let me state, I am all for you coming up with that, some sort of lower ticker front end, kind of offer to get that initial movement going.
Sure.
But I don't like it as we're taking the software package and selling it as a one-time thing. I think that's.
Yeah, there was the problem with that. There was no uploads available. It was like you could add as many accounts as you wanted that you wanted to type in, but that's no good. That's not really using the software. So I think it's a little bit of bait and switch, if you ask me.
Yeah, man, unfortunately, look, anytime an awesome software package comes out like HighLevel and creates all the opportunities that it has, and they have such a great financial model, you're going to get a lot of shenanigans out there. So everybody needs to have their shenanigans radar up. The good news is, wait a couple of years, all those chuckleheads will be gone and moved on to the next shenanigan. Hold on. Before I go have somebody knocking on my door tomorrow, I don't even know the people that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying, and I didn't watch the webinar. I don't know who those guys are or what they're doing. I'm just saying, in general, we all need to be aware of there's shenanigans out there in this space right now. And,
I like your approach. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Good to see you.
You too.
Awesome. Let's see here. Real quick before I move on, Glenn, you would be next. Real quick before I do that, though, there was a related question. Nope. Here we go. Joe asked, I'm not sure if you already mentioned this, but in terms of the Facebook ad stuff you were just talking about with Rob, what sort of management fee would you charge for that? Okay, so this is super important, guys. I want everybody to understand this. When it comes to selling those really structured Facebook ad campaigns or any other ad campaigns to small businesses like that, you don't want to charge a management fee. You don't want to have a management fee and their ad budget. You don't want them to see two numbers like that. That's like the death of your sales process and of your ability to successfully manage that account on an ongoing basis. What you want to do is you want to have a single price point. Here's how much it costs. Here's what we deliver. And then within that, you manage the budget. Okay. So what I mean by that is if somebody signs up for one of my content promotion packages through their San Diego and it's $1,000. Okay. It's $1,000. And what I tell them is they're going to get at least 50,000 impressions to their creative. Okay. And that's it. That's all I promise. Okay. So what it costs me to get those 50,000 impressions, that's my business. I mean, just like, if somebody's selling me, I don't, when I buy this phone, I don't go, well, hold on, what are your margins on that phone? How much does that chip cost you and and everything that goes into it? Maybe I need to know that, right? I don't ask any of those questions and they're not going to tell me. And, so same thing. If I'm selling traffic, which is what I'm selling, or visibility, right, is what I'm selling, then I'm selling it for X dollars a month. And the cost structure of that is mine to manage. So it's really important because here's what happens. Okay. The management fee, let's say that you're charging $497 a month. Okay. And then they go, what's the management fee? And you go, oh, well, the management fee is $297. And they go, wait a minute. I'm spending $497, but really only $200 a month is going to advertising because $297 is your management fee. That doesn't seem fair. Well, the reality is that's what it costs to run campaigns. It's not your fault that they're, they just have a real small budget, the work to do to fulfill the service is the work to fulfill the service. Just kind of, it is what it is, right? You got to have enough in there to pay for your business and stuff. So you start getting into these weird dynamics where your customer wants to start, pushing down, or they're looking at their ad budget and going, man, I spend more in management fees than I do in ad budget. Well, the problem isn't your management fees. The problem is their ad budget, right? They should be spending more, but they're not. So, but that's small businesses. That's why you have to be very thoughtful about how you structure this stuff with them. Okay. Yeah. Patrick says we do a lot of display ads for outreach and retargeting. Same issue. We can't show two prices, leads to disaster when management fee is greater than ad spend. Yep. Can't do it. Glenn, my man,
Dude, happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. It's been a while. It's good to see your face.
You look good. You don't look a day older than you did yesterday, man.
Don't look a day older than the 50-year-old bastard that you are. I'm not quite yet.
I'll be 63 in October, so no sympathy from me on that shit. Good to see you, man. I don't know if this is the right forum, but I figured I'd jump on. I've been really busy. I haven't been on any of the, meetings or anything at all because things are really great. I mean, they're really going. Yeah. So
I love it.
Yeah. So here's my question. Like, so, you kind of know my model. Like, I'm growing through a strategic relationship, right, in a software company. So I'm now officially also the marketing person for the software company. So I've positioned myself there. I'm getting a retainer to do that. I've converted them from fresh sales over to GHL CRM. The CRM is still an issue, but we're moving forward. And where I'm at is I want to do some things. So I know I have a plan of how I'm leveraging that relationship and what we're going to do to attack new prospects and make sales. So I'm cool. But where I'm struggling is in my role as the marketing person for the software partner. I'm trying to come up with some content ideas. And the struggle is that unlike some of these generic type of businesses, like chiropractor, we could talk about why it's good to have a strong back. For a software company, if you want to put a newsletter out to their users, you've got to be real specific relating to the software and what the functions and features are. The challenge is, it's a 27-person company. Everybody's running at 100 miles an hour. Nobody has the time to sit down and write up copy for me to give to a writer, to somebody to edit and work on. So I'm looking for ideas that I could go to these third-party content provider people and get some like newsletter type content and things like that. And again, it's a software company in a very, very specific niche.
So what is that specific niche again? Who are their customers?
Commercial vehicles.
Okay.
So the customers of the software company are guys who sell like big tractor trailers and bulldozers and even equipment
the software helps them get more customers and make more money.
It's operational. The software is really the operations piece. So we manage the inventory, we generate repair order billing, working the general ledger, accounts receivable, payable. It's the DMS. It's an operations plan.
I gotcha. And so to restate the problem, I think, is what you're saying is that, hey, I want to put together a newsletter that's got content, but it needs to be content about the software, and that's hard to write. One, it's just hard to come up with interesting stuff, and two, it's hard to have like a third party write it because it's not a generic piece of content. It's very specific to. Okay.
Right. So I'm looking for ideas that are outside of the box, but related enough that I can still get it like a newsletter out. Okay.
So I actually think that is the answer to your challenge here, which is that I would challenge the statement that the newsletter needs to really be about the specifics of the software. The newsletter needs to be valuable to the reader.
Right.
But that's the only thing that it needs to be. Really.
Right.
It doesn't need to be about the specifics of your software.
Right.
It needs to be valuable to the reader. So as an example, there's several newsletters that I get on a regular basis that are from software platforms that oftentimes the newsletter has really nothing to do about their software. Right. It's valuable to me though. And it's related to the topic of the software. So Later does a great job of this. They're great with their content. And a lot of Later's content, it's all about Instagram, TikTok, marketing and stuff like that. But a lot of it is not talking about their tool or referencing back to their tool at all. It's just keeping me up to date on the trends and stuff in that space and best practices and opportunities and all that stuff. And I read their newsletter religiously because it's valuable to me. If they were sending out a newsletter that was just like, hey, here's this awesome feature, and here's what you can do is press this button in our software and do X, Y, and Z, I would read it much, 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 much less because you just tell me how to use your software. Like, that's not very interesting to me. So what I would say is that you should be looking for what are the problems that your market is struggling with, or your customer's market is struggling with. What content would be valuable to help them with those struggles regardless of your software. And I would focus 75% of my energy on creating that content, and then 25% on making sure that, hopefully once in every newsletter, let's say there's 3 pieces of content in every newsletter, one of those is a nice something about your software. Here's how you can use it. We just shared with you 2 very important strategies that are going to help you up here. Here's how the software could help you execute on those strategies, or one of those strategies, or something, ideally related to it. But I really don't think you have to put too much pressure on yourself for it to be that way. As long as it's really good content, you could have just anything about your software in there as well if you want to. It doesn't have to be related to those 2 pieces of content. Like, I don't think you have to put a lot of stress on making that all like tie together seamlessly. I would just prioritize, is the content going to my audience valuable to help them solve their problems? That's by far and away it.
So there's really like two schools or directions to go, right? One, if we're focused on the software, then it's more about making users, more informed about features and benefits and things like that. If we go industry direction, that which I've been thinking about, the challenge again is trying to get like industry content that's not republished 5 times already, in other places. And
I think that's much easier though. Okay. I mean, unless you're going to have somebody on staff that knows your software inside and out, actually writing the content. Like if you're trying to be able to just hire third-party writers to help you create content consistently. Yeah, industry. I think you're going to have a much easier time even pointing to those 5 old rehashed pieces of content and saying, hey guys, I need something that covers this topic. Here's 5 reference points, but I don't want it to be a rehashed thing of those 5 reference points. I'm just showing those to you as a reference point of what's out there. Go create me a good article on this topic. Like, okay, that would be the approach I would take.
What about, is it to mix and match? So we can go industry direction, right? I could talk about trends in the heavy duty commercial industry and things like that. But then maybe how about something on a technical side that is software related, like, how to secure your passwords, or, how to, things that you should be doing as due diligence as a user on the system kind of thing.
I think that's great. I just think it's like, it's in terms of value to your audience, it's definitely secondary, I think, in terms of its perceived value. So I just think a combination of the 2 is what works.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, just trying to, and I also need content for the more, the prospecting side of this whole thing, right? The stuff that the users get, could be different somewhat than what the prospect may want to get.
Sure.
So, I mean, that's the other challenge that I'm running into. Other than that, the things, I'm still struggling with the CRM, although they're finally releasing the organization object.
Yeah, that was so funny when you tagged you in that post.
I know. That was funny. It was really funny. So we're still struggling with that. I mean, after uploading, almost 6,000 contacts from my strategic partners' old data CRM, I'm realizing how the CRM is so horrible.
Yeah,
it's even worse than it was last month for me. So it's just hard. It's just what it is. So I mean, I think that's the biggest stress. So, and last thing on this topic, I want to do. We have a trade show. They have a trade show coming up, and I have a advertising partner, so we can do geo conquesting, basically surveillance everybody inside the convention hall, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And do that. What's your thoughts on? It's I'm struggling a little bit with a fine line of like how to incentivize people. Like I could definitely want to, maybe if you sign up, for a demo or talk to a salesperson, you can enter into a drawing to win something. We've been doing those things for years in trade shows. That's not an issue, but I guess the fine line is like, I was thinking, is it too much to like give somebody something if they book a demo versus or is it just, let's do some lead capture? And I just don't know where the line is to be like annoying about it versus, trying to incentivize people to take
I think you have to be. I think you have to be aggressive in trade shows to make them valuable. I think there's almost no line. I mean, if you, as long as the offer that you're making to them is something valuable, something cool, you know, like, hey, you're going to get this great thing just for doing the demo. I mean, that's classic demo. I mean, that's the way demos are done, you know. So
well, but we don't want to give away like, you know, a $1,500 vacation or iPad or something to like 100 people. It gets pretty expensive.
no, but you could do a drawing for one of those.
A drawing for yeah.
So,
okay.
you know, you could do that type of thing. Yeah.
Yes.
But you could do, you know, there could be something smaller plus the drawing. Like I like that because then they're getting some immediate benefit, but they're also getting the potential for the bigger upside. You know?
Yeah, I thought maybe to work with like a product promotion company and just get some swag, you know, and
totally.
Yeah,
it is amazing to me. One of my favorite, like, I don't know if somebody else I'm sure has said this, and I probably heard it, but it was like in my brain I associate it with I said it first, so I give myself credit. But the saying is just you know, there's like essentially there's no limit to what an American will do for a free T-shirt.
Yeah,
and it's true. It's like, man, if you got a free T-shirt to give away, you can get people to you know, trample over each other to get the free T-shirt being thrown at them. You know, I mean, it's just like, it's crazy. So it really does not have to be much to get people to take action.
Yeah, it's funny. I was looking at a friend of mine sells promotional products. And I thought maybe I'd throw them the business. And bottom line is, like, I'm looking through this website of just thousands and thousands of products. It's like trying to figure out, like, hey, what do I think would be a good draw? You know, I'm trying to keep it software related and technology related, and yet, yeah, I know it's like it's just dangle the carrot, right?
Yeah. And where is this at?
It's just going to be in Colorado Springs.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, like to me, what I always just did was, I mean, just whatever. What is your audience like? If there's like some obvious stuff that your audience likes, oh, it's a bunch of dudes in the whatever industry. They love freaking barbecues. Awesome. We're giving away barbecues.
Right.
You know, we're giving away barbecue sets, your backyard barbecue set, you know, the utensils and stuff. I mean, people, as long as it's something that they like, that's all that matters.
It's 20 years ago when I worked as regional manager for this company that I'm now, you know, the marketing partner of. We gave away. I remember I drove to somebody's dealership. I gave them a bunch of drivers, you know, golf club drivers. You know, that was the thing that we gave away. That's So yeah. All right. So the content issue, just stick to industry probably, because trying to get specific is just very hard. I can't do that without a developer or someone telling me, dictating, these are the features, you know, this is the stuff.
Yeah. That's a pain in the neck, I think.
And do that. Okay. I think let me just real quick. I don't think I had anything else. I think it was the thing I shot to you. I'm thinking I'm going to use like UpViral or something to, my idea at the show is to basically put up a big QR code, you know, scan this, give us your name, you'll get some swag, and then you'll enter it into the contest to win the trip to Cabo, you know,
Sweet.
that kind of thing. Yeah. So I think that's the execution side of it. But all right, I think I'm good, man. Thank you. It's good to see you.
It's great to see you, man.
You look great. You look good.
Thank you.
All
You
right.
too.
See you, man.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Scott, you disappeared. If you're there, run back onto camera real quick so I can put you on. If not, I'm going to go. Richard, do you want to chat? My man, how you doing?
Hey, good, man. How are you doing?
I'm great. Good to see you.
Good. You too, man. I have 2 questions for you.
Let's do it.
So the second one's probably a little easier. The first one is, so right now I have roughly 27 or so subscribers to the software, right? But it's slow. It's a slow grind.
Yeah.
So like right now I've been running tons of ads, tons of retargeting. My main driver for sales right now is webinars. Okay. And my offer is simple. It's literally just, here's a whole bunch of tools to help you get started, bonuses, courses, all that good stuff. Just go for the free trial, right? So no upfront money. I was wondering what your advice was to scale, because it's really slow. You know, it's kind of a slow grind. And my goal, realistic or not, is by next summer, so let's say May, end of May-ish of next year, to get 100 paying subscribers on that bad boy. So I wonder what your advice was for that.
Yeah, so I think that it seems like, what's up, Tim Fandrick? Welcome. Good to see you, sir. And Scott, by the way, you would run away from camera, so I skipped over you, Scott. So I'll be coming back to you next, okay? Okay, cool. So Richard is in a niche. Can I tell people the niche?
Okay? Yeah.
So Richard has a tutoring business. He's been running a successful tutoring business for years and years. So he's done a white label of HighLevel. He's put together a really nice marketing system that he's using to help other tutors scale their business. And it's awesome. Great. I love everything he's doing. And I think that you're executing on everything really well. And as he said, you guys heard, he's got 20 something paying, customers now on his white label. That's monthly recurring. So how do we scale up from there? So, I know you're looking at your metrics from like a webinar conversion perspective and stuff like that. And I can't remember. I mean, it's been a while since you and I have talked about the specific metrics really in much detail, but you're getting success there. It can be optimized. Everything can be optimized, but you're getting success there, and you're getting customers that are coming on board and paying. And yes, it feels slow. I get that. But you're at 20 something customers paying you whatever they're paying you. You're starting to get in the thousands of dollars a month of recurring revenue every month, which I remind you specifically because we had this conversation over chat just recently. I'm like, man, look, you're not far away from having that, hey, my lifestyle is starting to get pretty nice because at least the basics of my life are getting covered by this, right? Which is nice. The other really nice thing is that, these customers, a good percentage of them are going to be very long-term, right? Like if they're on and your system's working, there's no reason for them to go anywhere, right? Like the value prop is awesome. So you want to, as much as possible, acknowledge the value of those customers to make sure that you are sufficiently investing in acquiring them. Right. So this is like good old Dan Kennedy 101 and direct response marketing 101, right? If you understand the lifetime value of the customer, then you can spend much more to acquire a customer as long as you can manage the cash flow to do it. Okay. So you've got to be looking at those numbers and saying, okay, what can I afford to get, to invest to get a customer? And am I doing that? And if you're not, cranking up that volume. Now, I say all this not knowing your industry real well, assuming that there is a sufficient way that you found to be able to reach enough of them to be able to, invest in that scalability, right? Like, I don't know what the total addressable market is there. And do you feel like, I just need to get in front of more people, but there's the people, they're out there. And I can just kind of crank up the volume on ads and stuff. Like that's the ideal scenario. If you can't do that, some markets are harder to reach through ads, but you can reach them through, other channels, industry associations, podcasts, blogs, things like that already have their attention. So those could be possibilities, but I would just be looking at how do I get that top of funnel visibility? And in most cases, the easiest, fastest way to do that is money, right? I mean, you can absolutely, you've been a content machine. You're doing a great job cranking out the content and stuff like that. So that's all awesome. You're doing that. Usually though, what it means is, okay, I got to invest some more money to just reach some more people on that very, very top of the funnel. So I don't know what you're doing right now, very top of funnel. And tell me that real quick. What are you doing right now, very top of funnel?
Yeah. So right now I've been running ads. Well, so I was running ads direct to webinar registration. And then they just get hit with the blitzkrieg, right? Just all the retargeting stuff. But recently I tried on my last one, actually inserting an opt-in page in front of my webinar registration page.
Totally.
And so what I accomplished was I got the same amount of registrants, but I actually doubled my email list.
Totally. 100%.
So that's working really well. But one of my biggest problems is a lot of those people aren't actually showing up to the to the webinar, to the live webinar, which I know is usually typical, right?
Yeah.
So right now I'm running the webinar every 2 weeks. So I guess an obvious solution would just start doing it every week, I guess. you know, and in Facebook, there's not really, I haven't like gone into lookalike audiences yet or uploaded like my list or anything like that. So that's something to try to expand to find more tutors. Right now, I'm really just targeting teachers because I know a lot of teachers want to tutor or make that side income of tutoring if they're not already. So that's kind of, that's my top of funnel right now is just webinar.
Cool. Hey, Danette, yes, I see you and I'll get to you. I got Scott in front of you and that's it. Then you're next. Okay. So Richard, and I think this is great for everybody. So there's a couple of things here. So one is that's awesome what you did with the lead magnet in front of the webinar. So webinars can be great for conversion on a little more complex product like this. They're terrible for everything else. They're terrible for the cost of getting people to them. They're terrible for the show up rate. They're terrible, all that stuff, right? So anytime I've used a webinar to grow my business, I always make sure that I have whatever I can brainstorm is the most slippery, easy front end that I can put out there to get their attention and get them on my list first. So I would just be testing the living heck out of that, man. I would test it doesn't matter if it has anything to do with the webinar directly. You know what I mean? It's whatever. Come up with some little cheat sheet tool. It's the 7-step whatever for tutors to, raise their prices, close more business, whatever, anything that you can come up with, and just test the living heck out of what can I do to get people to opt in as cheaply as possible. And then I'm directing them to my sales process after that, right? Because just as you said, you doubled your list growth. Like that's the magic right there, man. Anything that you can do to get as more people into your universe as cheaply as possible. And webinars are usually terrible for that. Okay. So you want to start thinking about real strategically, what can I do there? And then in terms of the overall size of the market and how to get them, I think that that's one that it can just be, honestly, it can be a limit of the marketplace and how far you're going to grow. So like for me, like in the whole agency world, like I am 100% resigned to the fact that it's never going to be like a real big business for me. Like it's just not like it's not a huge industry. And so there's just limits to it. And so there's only so much I'm going to invest in the growth of that business through paid ads and things like that. What works for me really well right now, is YouTube videos. Because my YouTube videos, I'm posting them up there for free and they're getting watched thousands of times, right? And the only people that are going to sit and watch those videos are agencies or people who want to be in the agency business. And so it's like, as you know, the cost of getting people to watch my webinar thousands of times would be a ton of money, and would not, it wouldn't be nearly as easy to do versus just putting the video up there. It's working. So depending on the size of the market, that balance between how much money you're going to throw at it versus like just finding the right channels that maybe a little bit more organic, maybe a little bit slower roll to get momentum in, but they're going to pay off because you're going to have this body of work out there, these assets that are out there working for you every day. I can't remember right now, how much are you doing on YouTube?
I post about one video a week if I can.
Oh, well, that's pretty darn good. What kind of views are you getting on a monthly basis?
On a monthly basis, let's see. I can actually look real quick. Give me one.
Or how many subscribers do you have?
454.
Well, dude, that's nothing to sneeze at. Look, I had 350 earlier this year. And I'm only at 3,000 and whatever now, but that's still almost 10x what it was. And and if I 10x that in the next year, I'm now at 30,000. So, like it's nothing to sneeze at, man. You're doing your thing. You're growing. So again, to me, it feels like this whole tutoring business is kind of like the agency business. Like it's not a big market, but it's big enough, that you can certainly blow right through your 100 customer number onto your, onto 300. So, if you're not finding, so first, let's just recap here because I know I've been rambling. First, try and find the most slippery way to get their attention and get them into your universe.
Cool.
Okay. Whatever that is. Just
so you're thinking test like a whole bunch of different.
I would test, split test. I would go crazy. And it's usually my experience is that it's some sort of giveaway, some sort of viral article, viral content piece. So like I would look at the, you know, those, there's a couple of sites out there that are like super high volume sites that are like how to make a living as a travel writer or how to make it, you know, it's like writerslife.com or whatever. And those are like crazy high volume. And I feel like the tutoring space has that similar kind of vibe. There's a lot of people that like, oh, I got a graduate degree and I'm only making $32,000 a year and this job sucks. And really what I thought I was going to be able to do was travel a bunch, but I don't really know how to do that. Like there's a lot of people, writers, tutors. I feel like there's kind of like this similar group of people that like, oh, I should be able to go to whatever country for a while and tutor people there because I know English and I'm from America and I should be able to tutor them in something and make pretty good money. And then I can travel and do that. Like, I feel like there's some viral content that could do really, really well in this space that could bring people into your world. Yeah, again, simple lead magnet tools, just like things where like you want to make the processing that somebody has to do in their brain to understand what you're offering and opt in for it, like stupid simple.
Yeah.
Nothing complex, nothing that I have to think about changing my business to get Richard's offer or anything like that. Just stupid, you know, stupid simple. Yes, I want that. Let me opt in and get it. And then you're going to have to feel out what's the advertising, what's my ability to advertise and push on this from a scalability perspective, right? If you're going to advertise here in San Diego, there's only so much money you can spend on Facebook ads before you're just wasting your money. I mean, there's just not enough. There's not that many people here. There's not that many businesses. So if you're spending $1,000 a month, I go, good. If you're spending 10, I go, man, you better have something that's really working here in San Diego to justify spending 10 grand a month on Facebook ads. Cause you know, it's not that big of a market. Right. So same thing in the tutoring space. Like it's only so big. And then I would absolutely recommend, man, that you just continue, like you just do what I'm doing, which is just put your head down and commit to, you're going to have a new YouTube video up there and you're going to get better at that and better at that. And you're going to do that every week for the next 3 years. Like before you even look up to say, was this worth it or not? I want you like 3 years into it. That's my mindset. Because worst case scenario, you're going to have a body of work out there that's going to be getting eyeballs every single day now, man. Literally, I don't have to do a damn thing. And my inbox is people coming in going, Mike, I just binge watched 17 of your videos and I really want to, you know, use HighLevel at my business. What do I, you know, every day I get that every single day now. So like, I just think you just got to keep your head down and just keep cranking that content out there.
Cool, man. I love it. Do you mind if I ask one more question?
Go for it.
It's a simple one. So I get people on the system and then they resist me when I tell them they have to pay for ads. You know, how do I help someone overcome that when they have a mindset of, I don't want to let go of $1, you know? So I had one girl, her name was Zara, who was on the system. She was crushing it. Her email list was growing like crazy. She was getting book calls. She wasn't able to close those calls, you know, because she doesn't have sales skills. So that's something she needs to build. But, you know, after she spent a certain amount of money, the system was working. She couldn't close those sales herself. So she ended up shutting off her ads. And she's like, I can't spend any more money on ads. And so my whole thing is I always tell them, pick a budget that you can stick with for the next 12 months where it's not going to take food off your table. You can just be consistent and you can go with it because over time it will build momentum. You'll be able to retarget more people, stuff like that.
Yeah.
How do I get them to do that?
Dude, I don't think that there's anything magic to it. There's no, it's continuing to do exactly what you're doing and showing proof as much as you possibly can. I think giving them that sounds like really, really good, solid advice. I would just repeat it until you're blue in the face. You're going to be sick of hearing yourself say it. and just keep on saying it, and just doing everything you can to demonstrate proof. Show them, hey guys, here's a campaign. Here's what I was running. Here's how it worked. Here are the numbers. Like, I think the biggest reason, there's two reasons why people freak out about ads. They just don't understand the numbers. If you don't understand the numbers, advertising looks very scary. You have nothing to baseline and go, oh yeah, it's working. It's doing what it's supposed to do. My expectations need to be this, and it's real, and I can see how the math works. But if you don't know that and you think, oh, I should just turn on an ad and make money, then it seems like it's not working, right?
Yeah.
So I think just continue to educate on realistic expectations like that. And then just trying to just reinforce over and over and over again. Here's what it looks like when it's working, yada, yada. Here are the 3 things that you need to get right to make it work. You need to have this type of ad, this type of offer, and you need to be able to, sell. You have to master this script. Those are the 3 things. Let's do them. It's just, I think, just over and over and over again, man.
Cool. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate everything as always.
You bet. That's awesome, man. I love it. I'm loving watching you. Just keep it up.
Thanks, man. I will.
All right.
See you, man.
Danette. Hello.
Hey there. How are you? Sitting patiently in the car. I said I didn't know for sure.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry to keep you waiting.
No, that's okay. I mean, it's fair game. Everyone's here and they have questions as well.
Yeah.
I would love to stay connected with Richard because I believe Richard has somewhat of what I'm doing. I'm a business operations strategist, so I deal with a lot of service providers, coaches, whether they're life coaches, business coaches, who've gotten all these certifications and they have clients, but they don't have any back-end systems set up. I know all those different workflows and all of that, and I'm trying to figure out a best way to truly monetize. I know I can set up packaging, but I heard you at the top of the call talk about be careful about trying to more or less come on as an agency type mentality. And so I'm just kind of looking for some food for thought. No matter where I am and I'm speaking, I'm always getting them coming and asking, hey, I need this, but I don't know how to do this, onboarding, offboarding, workflows. And I'm thinking maybe if I could, I guess maybe set up sub accounts inside of my account to, set up, well, here's when this customer signs up, this is already staged for you. Here's an onboarding piece for
100%.
your team members. But I'm trying to figure out how I can make this thing reoccurring as well, because this is just a package type setup. Any advice on how?
I got your business model. Your business model is super, super clear. You sell the tools, they pay for the tools, and you help them with the effective setup and use of those tools, but you're making money from the tools. So you set up the sub accounts. In those sub accounts, you have a bunch of standardized workflow and campaign blueprints that So you're like, look, here's the 17 systems that every business needs to have. This will double your profitability. You got to have an onboarding system. You got to have an upsell system. You got to have a review capture system. You got to blah, 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 blah. And you've got those all set up and dialed in so that when somebody signs up, so the great thing is somebody's listening to this and you're going, oh my gosh, you're right. I've got to have these systems. Man, think how much money we're losing because we're out there getting clients every day, but we don't have these systems. This is just dumb, right? How do I get these systems? Well, the great thing is you just use this software system, which you should be using anyway, because it's awesome and it's got all the things that you need and it's a very reasonable price. And when you do that, I set up all of these systems for you, right? And so you're going to have that initial onboarding customization, but it's not much because you're setting people up with the same, types of systems over and over and over again. And then they're just using it and you're getting that monthly recurring every single month. I mean, that's gotta be your model. Like there's no,
I mean, that's the model that I wanted to come from. I wanted, because my thought process was once I get them set up, how to make sure it stays, a recurring type situation.
Yeah. There's no better, easier way to get somebody to stay on the recurring than tools that they have to use at their business anyway. Right. And
that's all of it. Everything inside of Go High Level is, whether it's the email, whether it's the scheduler, whether it's, I design things on WordPress. I know how to do the landing pages, the websites, all of that.
Everything.
I don't want to put.
Yeah, I was just gonna say everything else those businesses view as discretionary. The tools, they have to run their business. They have to have the tools to run their business. So if you get in the business of selling those tools, then you're going to win, right? Just like what Richard is doing for the tutors, exact same model.
Okay, Richard, we got to talk. Let's stay connected some kind of way. I just want to,
Yeah.
what drew me to you, Mike, was you didn't draw me to you through Go High Level. You drew me to you through the service-based type stuff. And then it was like almost, oh, and by the way, I use this. Now I'm already on Funnel Streams, which sits on Go High Level.
Yeah.
Okay, with the other Mike Wayne, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, so I'm looking at just ways that I can leverage this smart, not work hard, but smart. I know there's going to be some work involved in it.
Sure.
And I've got a junior admin. I need to get another one, but I'm just really trying to set this whole picture around. And I deal with busy mom and wifepreneurs. And so I run in a lot of mom link clubs and all these people who are looking for a systematic approach because they're all over the place.
Yeah.
And
So
I think
yes, I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just gonna say, but you're the answer to this is so crystal clear to me that it's you need to have your sub accounts with your brains baked into the snapshot, right? So that when you set up a sub account, you can say, I can take all this experience and knowledge I have and just boom, put it right in there for somebody. And then you need to be in your marketing. You need to be speaking to the problems that they're solving. Hey, you are way too busy. You got so many, things you're juggling. And the reason why it all feels overwhelming is you don't have systems. And that's what I do. I put systems in place that will change your life, right? Every woman out there, every busy mom out there is going to go, I need what you're selling, right? Because that message to them is so powerful and so clear, right? They are the most overworked, overwhelmed people on the planet. And so when they hear that and they go, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I got to take advantage of systems and automation and all that type of stuff, make my life much, much, much more efficient. That's the message. The delivery is software with your snapshot baked into it. You do a setup of it for them, and they're just paying for the tools. They have to have the tools anyway to run their business.
Got you. So one last question. Again, coming from the space of not using the terminology agency. Now I hear people use the terminology boutique agency and all of that. For what I do as a strategist, what would your mindset be for, would you say turnkey sounds so hard for women? But it is turnkey service. Women are sassy, and I have programs where I said I help you get your sass on. So it's strategic action signature systems.
I like
that's
that.
That's my program. That's my framework.
That. Yeah.
And so I'm trying to figure out a way to say it without necessarily calling myself an agency, because technically that's what it is.
Yeah. I would say I mean, I don't know if you have to put a word to it. I mean, if I were you and I were describing what it is that I do, I would say I put systems in place to make you more profitable and more efficient and more profitable. That's what I do.
So you just spoke everything that I say in all my videos and all of everything that I post. Okay, so I'm right on point.
Yeah. If somebody wants to call you an agency or I don't really, who cares? Right?
Well, the name of the business is Let's Talk Strategies. I don't even have to talk about that. So my business name is also already, exactly what we're getting ready to do just by the business name.
All I can tell you right now is the word agency doesn't mean anything good to anybody. And throw a boutique in front of it. It doesn't. Those are just somebody trying to gussy up their title. I don't know. Like it. What is the benefit to them? The benefit to them is I set up systems that make you more efficient and more profitable and get you your life back, get you your time back, get you out of that crazy scramble so you can build your business and focus on your kids and all the other duties that you have as a woman and as a mom. Great. How do you do that? Right here. It's $397 a month. You get all these tools in place. I bake in all of these operational systems and campaigns for you. I customize them. They're up and running. You get, 10 hours a week back and add 25% to your bottom line. That's
now, the $397, that was just a whole nother thing too. The amount of money per month, I'm looking at the fact that they still would have to have, HighLevel to sit on. And so that $397 includes the 97 that they would be doing, or am I charging that separately? Didn't you say don't do that?
No. They are paying you. You are setting this up as a sub account on HighLevel. They are paying you $397 a month. You have almost no cost associated with that. It's your sub account. So that's it. They pay $397 to you. You turn on a sub account for them that costs you essentially zero. So it's just $397 a month. They're using your tools essentially.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for just helping me kind of mentally think it through.
Yeah. That's awesome. Go get after it. And thank you for your patience.
Oh, no worries. I just wanted to make sure I didn't get lost because I've been waiting for a week to talk to you about it.
That's awesome. Thank you, Danette. All right, let's see here. I see some questions. Scott says, I want to discuss rank and rent versus pay per lead. I think that you were on there, Scott, and dropped off. If you want to come back or you want to type in a question, please go for it. And then let's see here. Fly Fishing Journey says, all the webinars I run into on Facebook are starting in 2 minutes. Yeah. Dwayne Palmer says, does it work to charge $5 to $10 to attend a webinar refundable to those who attend? So no shows help pay the ad cost. Yeah, Grant Cardone charges for his webinars. Not all of them. He actually is just running ones recently I saw that he didn't charge for, but for years he was breaking the model because he was charging people, hey, it's $37 to attend the webinar, and killing it. And he was killing it because he could, take that $37 and put it into advertising. So you can definitely do it. You just got to make sure that you're delivering the value, and you got to make sure that your marketing, you're going to have to be more aggressive, right? Tim says Costa Rica, at TCA, the Commitment Summit. Yep. Kasim Aslan talked about 500 touches, and you are not running ads to get someone to buy. He said the click to buy paradigm is gone forever. Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that, Tim. I mean, I don't think the click to buy is gone forever. I think that's an exaggeration, but I am good with the mindset of you gotta be in it to win it. You gotta have a model where you're realistic about the fact that you are fighting for people's attention and that everybody else is fighting for their attention as well. And the more expensive and more difficult to understand your thing that you're selling is, the more you're going to have to keep in touch with them in a variety of different ways over time to get them to buy. Okay. If you're selling a pack of gum, you can sell a pack of gum like that, spontaneous, right? If you're selling a business system to replace the 7 systems you have right now to, blah, 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 for $497 a month, and you're going to be with us forever and all that. You have to be realistic. That is a multi-touch, oftentimes many months, oftentimes many years process of getting somebody who is interested to the point where they're actually going to buy from you. Mike Chapman, that's right. Without the vision, the people perish. That's right. Let's see here. Howard says, was thinking of using the phrase plug and play marketing system, but I'm thinking it may set expectations that go high level simple. If I'm setting up, can be plug and play. Yeah, I think Howard, I think it's good to be concerned about that. I think it could still work though. I think it depends on how much responsibility you are putting back on them. But I also think that that's something that's pretty darn easy to demonstrate why it's plug and play, but that they still have work to do, right? Like, I don't know. I think you can make that work. Glenn, what's my course we sold in general? Yeah, absolutely. Hey, what's up, Danny? Awesome. Any other questions? Let me know, gang. I know we're running a little bit long here, but this is good. Lots of good conversation and questions. And I'll kill some time. I'll fill some air here while we're waiting to see if any other questions come in. I take my daughter to college, first day of college next week. So daddy is going to be a little frazzled. I love my babies. And the fact that the first one is leaving the house is not easy. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. What's the best way to reach me? The best way to reach me is right here, right now. I am intentionally hard to reach. So, but in all seriousness, you can send if it's, something related to, support, any of our products, anything like that, help at servicesatscale.com is great. Or if you are coming from the Leverage brand, help at leverage.com is great. Either one of those works just fine. And then let's see here. I was going to tell you guys, yeah. So yesterday was my birthday, and I do want to share, because I think this is super important. And I felt very proud yesterday on my birthday that I had a number of people that have known me over the years or been customers over the years comment, and this made me very happy, very proud. They said, "Mike, are you going to the mountaintop today?" And so if you haven't been around me for very long, you may not know that on my birthday every year, and actually throughout the year, but on my birthday every year, I go to the mountaintop. And so what I mean by that is, figuratively, I'm going to the mountaintop to think and reflect and plan and all that good stuff. Literally, I usually go to the mountains because the mountains are like my happy place. It's where I feel just most connected to the world and all that good stuff, and relaxed. And so I usually literally go to the mountains and do this on my birthday. I didn't go this year because my daughter's leaving next week, so I don't want to leave town. I just want to be here with her. But I did go on a hike and go down to the beach, and then went to brunch just alone with my journal and did reflecting and thinking. And I am a very, maybe annoyingly methodical. I can show you my personal development journals and life plans and goals and stuff for literally the last 2 decades. Like I have it all, boom, 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 right? So it's a very, very valuable activity to me. And I cannot stress enough, the whole, what's the famous, is it Socrates or whoever it is about, anyway, life, what's the phrase? Anyway, if you're not reflecting on your life, it's not worth living, type of thing, right? It is so valuable to stop and reflect. It is just a ridiculously rewarding activity that I do every year. And I heard from a bunch of people yesterday that were like, after hearing you talk about it, I've adopted that too as a routine of mine. My birthday, that's what I do now too. And it's been super rewarding for me. And I'm just so happy to hear that. And I encourage you all to have a routine like that, because it is so valuable. It just really is. One, to look at your life and have some gratitude for the things that are going really well. 2, to recognize the things that maybe you need to improve. 3, to think about how you're going to go about that. It's very, very rare that we escape the cycle of just hustle, 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 and spend some time just really slowing down. And the more organized you can be about it. So I have a whole personal development system that I've developed for me, where I've got my 7 F's of my life that I'm trying to optimize. So each of those F's I'm looking at, I'm saying, okay, how am I doing in each of these areas? And then the areas that I feel like are a little bit out of whack, I'm saying, okay, well, then what am I committed to this year, to get those areas back on track? The more organized you can be about it, I think it's good. But I think most importantly is just that you're taking the time to do it. So very, very rewarding activity for me. And I'm thrilled to say, man, life is wonderful. I love what I do every day. I love working with you guys. I love, running there, San Diego, and trying to build that and be connected to my local community. I love my kids. I've got great health. I've got, just all these things that I'm just super, super, super grateful for. And, I feel really good. I'm really happy about that. So, and you guys are all a part of that. And so I thank you for that. The other thing that I did yesterday, and I do this regularly, I'm going to use this as another opportunity to remind you all, because I think that this is, to me, one of the most satisfying things that I do, even though nobody knows that I do it other than me getting on here and telling you. And what I mean by, I'll explain it. What I do is I regularly pick up my phone and record a video to somebody that I love. Very oftentimes it's to my kids. I'm recording messages to my kids in a video. Okay. They're all being backed up into Google Photos automatically. I don't give them to my kids now. These are video journals, essentially, if you will, that I am recording. My kids know. I've told them, hey, one day, kids, maybe it's when your dad's gone, maybe not, maybe it's before then, whatever. But I tell them, I record messages to you regularly in video. And here's where they are. They're in my Google Photos, so that they're automatically up there. I lost my dad. My dad was young when he died. And I think about how much would I give to have videos of my dad talking to me, sharing his experiences that he was going through, sharing his thoughts about me, sharing his challenges, sharing the things that he was proud of. Like, I would, practically cut off my left leg to have that right now. The important people in your life would feel the same way, whether that's your kids, your spouse, whoever it is. That will be really, really, really special to somebody someday. And the fact that I am getting that message out to them, and I know that one day they'll be able to see and hear that, is so meaningful to me, because, we all leave way too many things unsaid in life, right? Unfortunately. And so do that, guys. It doesn't take anything. I was on a hike. I was on my hike yesterday, and I was being reflective while I was hiking because I was thinking about life, and I got to the end of my life. I popped up on my video camera. Kids, it's your dad. It's his birthday. Getting to be an old bastard, but feeling great. Wanted to share with you where I'm at and how I'm thinking about you guys. And Sophia, you're about to head off to college, and it takes 3 minutes, and it just automatically backs up to Google Drive or to iCloud or whatever you're using. Whatever you're using, you should be capturing all of your photos and videos on autopilot, backing them up on autopilot. Don't even think about it, guys. Pay the $9 a month, whatever it is. I promise you, you will not regret it. It will be one of the best investments you make. And just back it all up and forget about it. That's all it is. But it feels so good just to get it out, right? But then to know that one day people are going to be able to go back through those. It's just, I'm so happy that I do it, and I'm so proud that I do it, even though, like I said, nobody's ever even seen the videos. I know, though, that it's going to be one of the most high ROI things that I do, because one day people are going to see those videos, and I hope that you guys will adopt it and do whatever the heck you want. Maybe you want to record the video and then send it to the person. Awesome. I record videos and send them to my kids and loved ones and stuff too. But do both, right? It only takes a few minutes. I promise you, it will be really valuable for you. All right. Awesome. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Awesome. Thank you, Bart. Absolutely. Gratitude for the win. D. Palmer says, your detailed growth system has paid off beyond just your family and helping so many of us, Mike. Thank you very much, Dwayne. I appreciate that. See, Kate says, thanks for that, Mike. My life has been extremely chaotic recently, and I really need some me time. Good, Kate. Yeah, you do. It's so valuable. And man, that's when you need it most, right? Is when it is chaotic. And I've been there, Kate. And that's when it can feel hardest to give yourself that, because you feel like, I don't have time. I got to keep up with everything. It's also when it's going to be most rewarding, right? Is because that's when you really need it, right? So, give yourself some time, and then get right back to it, right? Get right back to it, right? Give yourself that time, and then use that as inspiration and fire and fuel, and get right back to it. It's fascinating. I'll share with you guys, just a little bit about where I am in life right now, right? It's so funny because when I was younger, I had so much drive, so much ambition, and so little patience. Shocker, right? Oftentimes comes along with youth. I am more fired up, more ambitious now. And even though I'm much older, I have much more patience. It's the craziest feeling in the world. I don't even know why that is or why it makes sense, but I have so much more patience. Like when I look at the things that are important to me now, I've gotten so clear because of all that reflection. I think that this is why it makes sense. I know this is why it makes sense, actually, because I was going to record a video. I may still record this video and share it with you guys, because I think it's important for especially people who are a little bit younger, but I think it's important for anybody at any age. I realize now that I was 45 before I figured my shit out. 45. By then, guys, I had already built some very successful businesses, sold businesses, made a lot of money, married kids, all that type of stuff. I was 45 before I figured myself out. And I realize that now. It hit me actually really clearly on this birthday yesterday, because I was like, man, here I just turned 49. And I'm like, I feel so good and so clear and have so much motivation. And I have so much patience for the things that are important to me. I'm like, man, I could do this for the next 50 years. I almost don't even care like what the end result is. And I say almost because I'm a goal-oriented dude, but I have so much patience that I'm just like, man, I could do this forever. And I was like, why is that? Why do I feel that way now? And the reason why is because I have my shit figured out. And what I mean by I have my shit figured out is I've spent enough time in that reflection to know so clearly, here's what my life is about. Here's what my values are. Here's what's important to me. And all that other stuff doesn't matter, because here it is. And I know it. And I know it so clearly that I'm not distracted by all the other what ifs and all that type of stuff. Like I'm like, man, this is me. This is who I am. This is the path I'm on. And I hope that I'm able to do it for another 75 years or whatever. When we figure out all the medicine and the mechanics that let me live forever, because I have so many things I'd love to do. And I'd love to, just keep on trucking. But my dad died at 51. That's only 2 freaking years from now. I hope I don't die at 51. I'm doing everything I can to make sure I don't. But if I do, I feel really good that I'm on that path and I'm living it every day. And that, gosh, man, it just has like such a piece to it that I just realized that it wasn't until just a handful of years ago that I really got on the path of being clear about, hey, this is it. This is what it's all about for me. And I am so stinking grateful for that. And I know I'm getting as woo-woo as I get with you here, guys, but I'm so grateful for that. And I really do, like, I wish that on everyone. I really do. And it takes work. It takes work. I think for the far majority of us anyway. Maybe some people like just wake up and everything's just clear. Like, here's what my life's purpose is all about and yada, yada. For me, it took work. It took work. And I think that's true for most people. And so you got to make the time to put in the work. You got to put in the time for you. And it's work, man. If I showed you the amount of journaling I've done over the last couple of months, because I'm getting ideas out of my head and I'm reprioritizing things and I'm asking myself questions. Why do I feel that way about that and stuff like that? Just over the last couple of months, let alone the last 5 years, it's volumes of work I'm doing, in addition to the work of trying to run the businesses and stuff, right? So it's work, but man, is it fulfilling. It really is. So Alok says, what are a few things that you recommend to get our things figured out? How do you focus on one thing? I don't focus on one thing. So that's part of it. That's part of it. And that in and of itself is a thing that I figured out. Yeah, there's all kinds of people out there that will tell you focus on the one thing, because then you can get the one thing really, I don't focus on the one thing. That doesn't work for me. I like focusing on a bunch of things. And that's what works for me. That's what makes me feel fulfilled. Will I get the most optimal result compared to somebody who can just focus on one thing and be maniacally obsessed with it forever? Probably not. But I'm getting the optimal result for me, which is I'm living the life I want to live, and it's fulfilling and I'm happy. Okay. Maybe I grow my business to 10 million when somebody else could grow it to 100 million. I'm good. I'm not comparing myself to anybody else. All right. I'm comparing myself to me. and who I want to be and what I want to do. But in terms of recommendations, man, I mean, anybody who knows me very well knows I'm a huge Tony Robbins fan. 5 years ago, after being a student of his material for life, I went to my first live event of his, UPW, Unlimited Power Within, or Ultimate Power Within, whatever it is. I went to the first live event, and I was at a real turning point in my life. And, had a lot of personal things going on with my marriage and stuff like that. And, so it was like a really good time for me to go to an event like that and get everything I could out of it. And I did. I mean, he does such a good job. He does such a good job. If you go to one of his events committed to going all in, which is what he challenges you to do. He's like, look, if you're not going to be all in, just leave, because this is a thing that only works if you're going all in. Then I cannot imagine that you cannot have like a life transformative experience at one of his events. I think the only way you couldn't is if you just were not playing to win. You weren't in it to win it. You were kind of, skeptical or whatever. I think his material is amazing. And then, there's a handful of other things that I think have been really amazing. I think what's really important is that you have a personal development system that you're aware of and at least following to some extent. And I studied all of them, Stephen Covey's and Tony Robbins and all that. And ultimately over time, what I've done is develop my own, because that's what worked for me. Because I took bits and pieces from these different systems. And then I think honestly, then it's just accepting that a big part of your life should be the work of personal development, of just continuing to refine this. It's not like a one and done. It's not like I read that book and went to that thing. I used to feel like I was always just like, give me the answer. Like, give me the one thing. And it's not the one thing. It's kind of like asking, what's the one thing I should do to grow my business? There's no one thing, right? So accepting that that's just part of the work of a good life is reflection, working on yourself, personal development, just constantly. That's part of your routine. And I think find whoever's message is around that resonates with you. Great. It could be Tony Robbins. It could be Jocko Willink, the Navy SEAL guy who's got the book Extreme Ownership, which I love. And it's got this Navy SEAL kind of mentality we get up every morning, we improve, we measure, whoever works for you, whichever resonates with you, start putting it to work. And then when you find something maybe in it isn't resonating with you or working as well as you want, you look for other resources and you just keep going. You just keep going. It says, I can't focus on one thing. I like to focus more on one thing. So how do you balance it? And how do you wake up to that realization? For me, it's just not fighting myself. I've just never been a person who wants to focus on one thing. To me, life is so interesting that there are a number of things that, I want to be involved in and do. And I understand the sacrifices that come with that. I think that that's really important. You can't try and do a bunch of things and then pretend there's no impact to that. There is. I know there's an impact to that. I accept that impact gladly. That's how I do it. I don't beat myself up over it. I don't, Mike, there's somebody out there judging you because they think that you should just be doing one business and going all in and growing that one thing as much as you can, optimizing the living heck out of it. Good for them. I don't care. That's for them. This is for me. They're not living my life. I'm not living theirs. So I just don't beat myself up about it. I accept the consequences. Pain of failure hurts in the moment. The pain of regret hurts till the end. And do the things you fear the most, and the death of fear is certain. Yeah. That's good. 49 here with my oldest starting senior in high school. I feel you. So Mailgun and Twilio is now replaced by HighLevel. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome, Sean. Yeah. No kidding, man. That is a big move. That is a big move for them. It's awesome. Awesome, everybody. Thank you so much for letting me rant. Again, my birthday it's a very important time for me. I'm very grateful. It's awesome to feel as good as I do about life and feel as inspired and motivated to just go and grow and learn and just keep on going. It's a good place. And like I said, I wish that on all of you, and it takes work. And so, let's commit to it. Commit to the work in your business, commit to the work in your personal life. I think that like that acceptance of, I will, Adam, thank you. I think that acceptance of, actually, so Jocko Willink, of all people, because I listen to his podcast and stuff, he refers to it as the path. And I think that's a special forces thing. I think that's what they refer to it, is that you get on the path and you stay on the path. What is the path? The path is the commitment to every day you're putting in the work and getting better at anything and everything, whatever it is. Like, that's the path. You've committed to, I'm getting up every morning and I'm committed to getting better, improving, measuring what's important to me, prioritizing, focusing, getting shit done, right? Personal life, professional life, that's the path. And staying on that path, like just committing to the daily, habits. Stoicism. Yep, absolutely, Bart. Yeah. And that's probably, to me, like that's the thing. It's awesome. Thank you, Charles and Linda Musselwhite. Thank you. Mike says, before you came along, I was trying to conceive of a productized service like you picture for us. Now the more I grasp of my why is light of your model, the clearer my business model becomes. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. That makes me happy. Awesome, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. For those of you here in the United States, have a great Labor Day weekend. If you're going to take the day off and do your thing, whatever, that's awesome. If you're going to put in the work, that's awesome too. I love it. I will be putting in the work, and I will be going out and horsing around and enjoying myself a little bit too. It's all, to me, that's all part of it. So have a great weekend. Thank you very much for being a part of the community. Thank you for your attention and for your business. I always appreciate it. We will see you on our next call. All right. Take care, gang. Have a good one.